Here are 5 games that I really like this coming weekend in football. First, Diego Pavia and Vanderbilt travel to Blacksburg to take on the Hokies of Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech coming off its loss to South Carolina, Vanderbilt winning their opening game. These two teams played last year in Nashville, and surprisingly, Diego Pavia and the Commodores came out with a decisive victory in overtime. It ended up being a great campaign for Vanderbilt last year. On the other side of that, Brent Pry is coaching for his job, and this is a second SEC opponent in 2 weeks. Virginia Tech, surprisingly, is a 2.5-point favorite at home, and that's something that I just do not understand. In the Brent Pry era, they have been ill-prepared for every big game that comes their way. I see this as Vanderbilt coming in with an experienced quarterback and a great coach and taking one from the Hokies. Give me Vanderbilt. Oklahoma State and Mike Gundy are traveling to Oregon to face Dan Lanning and the Ducks. There has been a lot of talk in the lead up to this game as Mike Gundy has been very critical about how much money Oregon has spent in NIL money on their players. Dan Lanning, to his credit, had a witty comeback, and I think the Ducks have some bulletin board material. In my opinion, Mike Gundy is on the hot seat. He's been there a very long time and has yet to produce anything of substance. The program overall has been good, but they have not reached any new heights, and it seems as if the Mike Gundy era is on a downturn. On the opposite side of that, Oregon is coming in hungry after a Week 1 win, and they are looking to make noise in the Big Ten going forward. I see Oregon winning this game handily because I think Dan Lanning is a better coach, has more talent, and I think Oregon is going to come in better prepared. Give me the Ducks. Last college game of the week, Michigan travels to Norman to face number 18 Oklahoma. Bryce Underwood looked amazing in Week 1. He is very young, but he's also extremely talented. Sharon Moore is going to bring this team to what could be a hostile environment, and they're going to have their hands full. On the other side, Brent Venables, also kind of coaching for his job, is looking to get his first real signature win this year with the Sooners. They're going to have to play their best. They're going to have to contain the young stud quarterback, and I think that Brent Venables needs this game more than Sharon Moore does. However, I trust Michigan a little bit more. Sharon Moore has coached a national championship team recently. This team is taking on his identity, and I just feel like Brent Venables is so up and down. It's going to be a test for the Wolverines, but ultimately, I like the Wolverines in this one. Moving on to the NFL. The Steelers travel to New York to face the New York Jets. Now, on paper, this game is nothing. The reason that it's interesting is because Aaron Rodgers travels back to the Meadowlands on the heels of what can only be described as a failed campaign with the Jets. Now, he is the quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers. The New York Jets do not want him to do well in the Meadowlands after what happened. But I don't know if they have the talent to keep up in totality. Justin Fields is going to have to play very well, and I think that Aaron Rodgers is going to be able to find DK Metcalf, and I think is going to be better coached and is going to be motivated. Aaron Glenn has a tough situation in his first game, and I think the Jets ultimately will be better this season than they were last year. I just think that Aaron Rodgers is going to play with a chip on his shoulder, and as much as I hate to say it, I think the Steelers are going to take it in the Meadowlands. And finally, Dan Campbell goes into Green Bay to face Micah Parsons, Jordan Love, and the Green Bay Packers. The Lions are going to have a really tough time this year because their schedule is so tough. Starting the season on the road at Lambeau has its advantages. They're not going to have to play in that inclement weather later in the season. The Lions are coming in off of a fantastic season. They still have Dan Campbell, but they lost both Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson. And it's going to be interesting to see how they adjust throughout the season without the continuity of those two men on the sideline. The Packers are coming in with Micah Parsons, who needs an epidural in his back. That's concerning if you ask me. And Jordan Love has looked better every year that he has played. I really feel like this is the first game of the season. We're going to see some growing pains with the Lions. Ultimately, they're going to be fine. I just think that the Packers are going to have a slight edge with Parsons in the lineup and with Jordan Love and that home crowd. So give me the Packers to win, but not by a lot. Those are 5 games that I like this week coming into the football action this weekend. What are some games that you like? Let me know down below.